Going to be comparing the Aladdin franchise to the Total Recall franchise. The reason for that is in part one of the series when I compared the Clash of the Titans franchise to the Aladdin franchise, Aladdin 1. When I compared Dungeons and Dragons to Total Recall 1. We look at highest score for each franchise. The Disney Renaissance classic movie Aladdin has a 95%. The original Total Recall from Paul Verhoeven, one of the movies he's most well known for, has an 82%. When you look at lowest score, the 2012 Total Recall remake has a 30%. In regards to Aladdin, both of the direct-to-video follow-ups to the original movie, Return of Jafar, as well as King of Thieves, have a 33%. When you look at average score, Aladdin is an average of 54, while Total Recall is an average of 56. Total Recall wins this round, but Aladdin won the first two rounds. Then we look at gap between lowest and highest score. In the case of Total Recall, gap of 52%. With Aladdin, you got a gap of 62. Total Recall wins this round, so it's tied right now heading into the final round where we're going to look at my personal opinion. And in this case, it's not actually very difficult. For me, it's pretty obvious right away that, yeah, Aladdin is the superior franchise. Because I think the 2019 Aladdin live action remake does work. Are there issues of it? Yeah, I don't think that the Jafar we get in this film is as good as the Jafar from the Disney Renaissance classic. The actor who played Jafar in the 2019 Aladdin movie just felt more flat than the performance you get in the Disney Renaissance classic. In that case, Jafar comes off as more intimidating, whereas when I look at 2019 Aladdin, it feels like Jafar is saying all his lines in pretty much the same way. Like the actor is just delivering all his lines in about the same way without much variety. So I don't think this version of Aladdin is as menacing as the one from the original movie. There's a few things you miss, like the talking parrot Iago, for example, but I think that they got the right actor to play the genie. Will Smith did a great job. He's able to deliver the energy that you want from the genie. I like how he brought a lot of energy without trying to copy Robin Williams. Robin Williams did a great job playing the genie. I think it's a big shame that we lost him because he killed himself. And when you look at Dead Poets Society, Mrs. Doubtfire, Hook, Aladdin, you go this on Good Will Hunting, you go, this guy was a very talented actor, and then he committed suicide. It's pretty sad, to be honest. Also, I think that inherently Aladdin is a story that translates well to live action, whereas inherently it's much harder to tell a good Lion King story because there's not a single human character. It's all animals, and when you make them photorealistic, you suck all the emotion out of the story. I think that's a hurdle that you just can't overcome. I don't personally see how it's at all possible to get past that hurdle of photorealistic animals can't be expressive, they can't be emotive or lively. But with Aladdin, it's a story with a lot of human characters where you have adventure, you have chases. That fundamentally translates well to live action. Also, I think giving the genie more to do in this version, where he's interested in one of Jasmine's handmaidens, was a good idea, giving him a bit more of his own story independent of being Aladdin's servant. Also, I think that it was a good idea to add a song that makes it a bit more obvious that Jasmine is a strong and independent. Admittedly, in the original film, you already see she is definitely strong, especially because one of the big points of that movie is that Jasmine doesn't want her dad to marry her off. She's saying, I want to choose who I'm going to marry. I'm not a prize to be won. So, I mean, did we need to have a new song to make it more obvious that Jasmine is independent? No, we didn't really need that, but I don't think it hurts the movie too much. Also, I think the actor that played the main character Aladdin did a great job. There's strong visuals in here. So I think 2019 Aladdin is one of the better Disney live action remakes. And I have a good time anyway with Aladdin Return of Jafar as well as King of Thieves. In the case of King of Thieves, it's about Aladdin figuring out who his biological father is after he didn't know at all who his parents actually were. But then he learns, oh, my dad is actually the king of thieves. So he's trying to decide, do I want my dad in my life at all? And then ultimately, Aladdin's dad does actually choose his son over greed, which is pretty powerful. So by the end, his dad actually watches his son get married. And even though obviously Aladdin's dad can't make it publicly known that he's there, otherwise he'd get arrested. Still, he's able to watch Aladdin and Jasmine get married. And then Return of Jafar is, as we know, about Jafar coming back. That makes sense to me because it's not like Jafar was killed at the end of Aladdin. No, he was just deceived so that he's stuck in the lamp. But if he's stuck in the lamp, then that means he can be freed. So there's a good reason in this case why Jafar would come back. And I also like that there's growth for Iago. At first, obviously, people don't like him because he's built a reputation for himself as someone who is duplicitous, deceitful, and thus cannot be trusted. But then by the end of the story, Iago actually goes against Jafar, comes back to save Aladdin and his friends when there's no need to. On a personality level, sure, Iago doesn't really change all that much. He's not suddenly, sweet and innocent, but he's definitely changed for the better. When it comes to Total Recall, of course, the movie from Paul Verhoeven, I think is great. Arnold Schwarzenegger is really entertaining, charismatic. Is he the best actor out there? Is he the best thespian? No, I think a lot of people would agree that he's clearly not the strongest actor in Hollywood, but does that make him bad? No, I wouldn't say so because I think Schwarzenegger knows what his strengths are. He knows that he is really fun to watch on screen, and you get that here. I think the visuals are quite good. I like that this is a very distinct movie because there's a weirdness to it with having a lady with free boobs, mutants. Also, I like that there's ambiguity with this film because you can debate, well, how much of what we're seeing is real? Is any of this real, or is it all just made up in the character's head? Is Arnold Schwarzenegger's character actually just at Recall headquarters the whole time, or did he actually go to Mars? I think the story here is pretty engaging. When it comes to the remake for 2012, is it one of the worst movies of all time? No, I wouldn't say that. Is it incompetent? No. Is it a unprofessional film? No. I mean, it's a slick professional production. You see where the money went. The movie's totally competent, but the problem is that at the end of the day, it also comes off as the totally bland and generic take on Total Recall that just doesn't have anything distinct about it. It lacks any of the weirdness that's in the original film. It's more like a standard action film. I mean, the actor that plays our lead character, you could definitely say that he's better at pure acting chops than Arnold Schwarzenegger, but is he as entertaining to watch on screen as Schwarzenegger? No, I wouldn't say that he is. Is the action well done? Yeah, I don't think that it's incompetently handled, but ultimately, the movie's just not that interesting to me. So I'm like, well, there's a lot of other action sci-fi films that I would much rather rewatch than the totally bland, generic, but competent version of Total Recall. So in this case, I'm easily going to choose the Aladdin franchise, though wrap things up for this video.